good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. Boom. And today, we're going to take a look at some cool modular sound design with Mela 5. Hello. Did that scare you? What's going on? I'm Jade. This is How to App on iOS. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to our Wall Warriors. You can become a Wall Warrior by clicking the join button down below or hitting the link and doing so if you're on an iOS device or something like that. It only costs you $1, and that is the business. Boom. Look at Mix Club doing his little speakers everywhere. Hey, you all doing good? How good was yesterday having Mark Wade on the show? What a fantastic musician. Really fun chat. Really interesting human being. I love doing the interviews. You know how much I love doing the interviews. There was another really cool interview. Who knows who's coming up this week? It's all a bit of a surprise, yeah? Let's say hello to you all. Jim Shannon, John Swanson, what's going on? Mix Club, Ali's in the house, Legs 11, Rise of Dark Leela, Robert Redmond's Clip Channel. Want to thank Mr. Smith for sending everybody over from his show. Hi, Valerie, if you're in the background lurking. There's my perpetual pussy platypus, platypussy. Fellow Aussie, Ed Bemedal. I know, dude, you've got obligations over at Jeff's show, so fully understand that, my friend. Good to see you, though. Ed Wolfstone Studio, what's going on, Ron? Who else? Big hello, big shout out to my friend here, Wild Bill. You know what you did. Thank you so very much, Wild Bill, for your support. That was really kind. I'll shoot you an email as soon as I've got some time. But thank you, Bill. That was very kind of you yesterday. Love you loads. Jim Shannon's in the house. I see many vibes. There's the Viberosa, whatever that means. It's probably not going to stick. She's always practicing patience. Chris Lane Sr.'s in the house. G'day, Chris. Hope you had a good day off from yesterday. There he is. There's the tongue meister himself. Thanks. Great show, Smithy. Good stuff. We got Russ. There's Russ. There's my mate Russ. There he is. Look at him go. Pookie. Princess Pookie of the Pookasauruses. Brad, if you're in the background, love you, Brad, if you're lurking. And Wild Bill, he's a rock star. He's a champion. All right. So today we're taking a look at this app called Mela 5. Now, let me just be complete. I like doing this every now and again. Oh, why is my camera? Hang on. My camera's in the shot. Let me just fix that. Go over there. It's still working. Desk camera. There it is. Still working. Good. So we need to cover a few things. Today's app, every now and again I do a show where I haven't really studied the app too much. So you get to study with me and see me learn how to use an app. I like doing this sometimes. I already know a little bit about this app because I've covered it, the previous versions of it. But today, I really haven't had too much of a look at the update, so we're going to walk through it together. Robert Redmond, thank you very much for the kind super chat. That's very nice of you. Thank you, Tremor Bear. Hope you're getting better and stuff. All right, let's do the usual things. Let's talk about this before we move on. So, yes, tomorrow, my friends, is the big debut of the new show that happens once a month here on the channel called Asking for a Friend with Gladys Worthington. So Gladys is a friend of mine's grandmother. She's a unqualified sex and relationship counselor, and she'll be here for an hour tomorrow to answer your questions. So if you have any burning questions, any help that you need, maybe with music, love, life, your job, anything that you need answered, Gladys Worthington will be here for an hour tomorrow to answer all your questions. And it's really easy to get your question on the show. We've already had Apparently, Gladys has told me she's already had over 20 questions. But if you would like to submit a question, and you can do it completely anonymous, you don't need to put your name down or anything like that, you too can head over to the Gladys Worthington Asking for a Friend form. There it is in the chat. And you can just go there and just fill in the details, send your question, and Gladys will be more than happy. If you've got multiple questions, send them away. Gladys is ready, and it should be a bit of fun, a bit of frivolity, and I hear a whisper. There's even a segment where, because the show's called Asking for a Friend, right? And you send in your question, and she's even got a segment called Asking for a Friend, and she's going to ring somebody else to try and get the answer. God knows what's going to happen. If it turns out to be a disaster, don't blame me. Comedy is hard. So Gladys will be here tomorrow. It's at the time we're in the place of the opening hour. It only happens once a month, so don't get too weirded out that Gladys is going to take over my channel, because no, she's not. Hello, Ed Z. It's a Z to the E in the house. Did I miss somebody else? Did I see Jenny here or not? I thought I saw somebody say hi. Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Jenny's working, but she says hi. There we go. Thank you. All right. Okay. And don't forget today, after this, did I set a, let me check if I set a thing up. I'm really professional here because I think I did. So after this show today, what we'll do is, I think I've got a dump already set up, and I can't change it now. So we'll make sure my mods, my amazing mods, will post the link up, because an hour after today's show, Valerie Butt is doing a sick show over on her channel. Really positive, cool show where everyone comes together, and we're going to help Valerie write a song, right? So get involved. Last one she did was great. The song she wrote was amazing, that we all wrote together. So we'll make sure we pop a link in the chat before the show ends, and we'll get everybody over to Valerie Bart's show and help her write a song, a community song today, because I love positive things like that. There's nothing better, yeah? Hey, Hobbs, good to see you. It's been a little while between drinky poos. Okie dokie. Let's Oge, and we'll see what's going on at our favourite place that we go to every day. This is the Beat Community. Anything new, updates, any of this stuff, you can find it here. Thump 1 by Toybox has been updated. This is a really cool app. So I'll probably maybe cover the update. I don't know. I think we're going to do an update show soon where I cover a bunch of updates. Scalar 2 is on sale. So if you're into Scalar 2, now trust me, there's some big news about Scalar coming up. Scalar 2's on sale, and the in-app purchase is now, it's been reduced from $20 down to $12.99. You see me use it on this show nearly every day. Scalar 2's amazing. And there's an update coming out in about 2 days' time, and this update is phenomenal. Plus, the Scalar are releasing Scalar EQ in about 2 days' time as well. Very, very, very exciting. So that is a thing. Paul from Four Pockets has some apps on sale. If you don't know Paul, he's just come out of having some massive radiation and chemo. He's one of our top developers in the community. Looks like he's doing okay. He's in recovery at the moment from some really strong chemotherapy, radiation. So send our love to Paul. But he's put some apps on sale. StringLab, Audioscope, Analyzer, and Neon are on sale as well. So there you can see it there. Sand is, we're going to take a look at Sand this week. It's had a massive update as well. Really cool app. But today we're taking a look at Mela 5. Yeah, Mela 5 is here. I usually tune in, but usually late here. So choosing to watch it. Well, thank you for joining us now. So Oceans in Space. Cheers, Mela. Seems great, but I've not learned. I use Audulus and Mirac. So let's talk about Mela 5. So Mela has had many iterations. There's been Mela 2, 3, 4. The last version, of course, was Mela 4, and it was a paid app. Okay, now if you purchased Mela 3 or Mela 4, any of these ones before, you will get an update, and it will turn into, oh no, is it 3? I think if you've got 4, it will turn into Mela 5. So if you check your Mela 4, it will now be Mela 5. It's had a name change, and the payment system has changed as well. It used to be just $29 up front. Now it's free to download and it comes with modules. Let's try and explain the payment system because, all right, it's always cool when you got to work these things out. So we'll bounce over to my Mac where I've got it set up here with the US prices. And we'll do some scrolling. Come on, scroll. So here are the prices. It's now free to download. Let's see if I can zoom in. Come on, zoom. Oh, man. You can see it there anyway. So there it is. So it now comes in collections. So if you've never owned it, you'll need to buy the sections in collections. So collection 1 is essentially Mela 3, collection 2 is Mela 4, and collection 3 is the Mela 5 update. As I said, if you owned Mela 4, all you would have to buy is this one here, the newest one, the collection 3. Oops, I'm highlighting all of them. Fucking hell. This one here. That one. That one. So if you're on Mela 4 and you've opened up the app and it's now Mela 5, all you need to do is pay the $19 to get the extra stuff. But you still will have all of the other stuff. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, putting it out there, I am not the best. I'm not amazing at modular synth. It's one of my weaknesses, modular synth. It just is what it is. Modular synth is hard, especially when you're a singer and a guitarist and you've only been, playing synth for about 4 years. And when I first started this show, I didn't even know what an oscillator was. How bad's that? But here we are. A lot's changed. But with a modular synth, you are essentially building the synth from the ground up. Yeah, you're building it from scratch, right? The original kind of modular synth, the old school modular synth that was around before we have the technology we have today of just apps that already have sounds made for you. So this is, again, one of those. And in these collections now, so collection 1 has a whole bunch of modules in here, the simple stuff, the oscillators, all this kind of stuff. Number 2 has like a clipper, comb filter. But what we're looking at today is the new collection, because I've done 2 shows on this app already. You can go back and watch those, Mela 4 and Mela 3. I've done 2 shows already, and you can go back if you want to get the full overview of how this thing works. But today we're focusing on this, the collection 3, which is all of these: digital delay, dual pan, mid-side, note event, notepad, phase inverter, simple LFO, and a stereo pan. These are all the new modules you're getting, plus there's been some updates to the app. So let me play you the little project I made just before the show. And my friend Ali was with me today watching me make my project. And here it is here. We have a bounce bud and a harmony bloom. And we've got 5 instances of Mela. And I wanted to create something atmospheric. So let's see how I did. And this was about 15 to 20 minutes work. Let's see what we can make, what I have made with these 5 instances of Mela. I'll shut up, hit play, and let's go. Nice. Nice, relaxing, nice atmosphere. There we go. But this can be used in so many different ways. You might see other people doing demonstrations of this and putting it in some kind of synthy song, but you can do some pretty incredible stuff with these beautiful sounds. And we had a few nice delays on there as well too, so that's pretty cool. Pretty much just Stellar Vox and Altetha, so nothing fancy. Hello, Joe Glenn and Princess LDG. She's come for a drive-by. Thanks very much. You wonder how much they are. I told you at the start, Jim. $19.99 for each of them. If you own Mela 4, though, you only have to pay for one of them, right? So let's clear this project out of here. And let's open up an individual one at a time and let's show you how to work it. We'll show you where you can find the in-app purchases. Let's just get to it and show you what's going on. All right, so we're looking for Mela 5. Do a search. I want to connect this to my keyboard, of course, because I want to play my external keyboard. So now that it's installed here, I'm going to go to inputs, and you can see this has 4 inputs and 4 outputs. So you can do some incredible routing with this, but I've covered this in a previous show, so we're not going to get too crazy with this. Now, also, this thing can be used as an effect on something else. We'll get to that. Let's just choose Mela 5 Audio 1 in, and I'm going to connect my keyboard. So now my external keyboard down here is connected. And we've got sound, and that's what we want. We want some sound, all right? So you know that's connected. That's where you're hearing sounds from. Let's take a look at this thing. When you open it up for the first time, this is the default sound. I guess it's Frog Day today. I love you guys. You know what? I love that you always just have fun in the chat, and that's what's most important. Right, so here's our default sound, and it looks complex, right? But remember, this is modular. So what is modular? Well, these are all modules. So these little squares are individual modules, and you can open them up. You see you can actually make these smaller so they don't all look so big. You can compact them all in, and just by tapping on them, you can extend them all. So if you want to make things look a bit neater, and these are individual modules that build up and create a sound. So, and we'll start from scratch in a moment and show you how to build something from the beginning and get to. Because there's a whole lot of, all these little boxes make this one particular sound. Okay. So what we're going to do is first head over to the settings up in the top right-hand corner and talk about up here. You've got a tempo, a sample rate, pretty standard stuff for an instrument. A plugin type, this is now set as an instrument. We'll talk about that later. Here's where you buy your in-app purchases. Here's your module collections. Now remember, this is free to download if you've never owned Mela before. So you download it for free, and then you would need to go in here and choose your collections. So the first collection is free. So this one you get just for downloading it. So it's done. And there's 10 modules in here. Excuse me. You got an amp envelope, an arpeggiator, an LFO, a meter, relative pitch, stereo. You've got an oscillator, all the things you need just to make sound, right? Just to make a sound. So you get all that for free. That's a pretty good deal. Collection 1 is $19.99. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for the gifted membership. Who got that? I didn't see who got it. Let's have a look. That went to Many Vibes. There we go. Many Vibes got a gifted. So look at that. Perfect. You can't make that shit up. It's perfect. It's like a match made in heaven. So with Collection 1, if you pay the $19.99, you get 26 modules. Look at them all. All these fantastic modules, yeah? Balance, chord, chorus, compressor, distortion, or envelope, look at flanger, all this stuff. So that's your first collection. pretty fantastic. The second collection is basically Mela 4. And in here, look at this. You got a clipper, comb filter, DC blocker, degrader, EQ band, FM operator, MIDI capture, MIDI channel. So you got a whole bunch of stuff in here. But we're focusing today on the newest one. This is collection 3. Now, you see 26 modules here and 16 here. Don't worry, there's only 8 so far in this module, and there will be more. As the app gets updated, Nikolozi will be adding more in here, but these are what you're getting with the latest version. So digital delay, dual pan, mid-side, note event, notepad, phase inverter, simple LFO, and a stereo pan. So this gives you the entire lot, right? $19.99 for collection 1, 2, and 3. Collection 0 you get just for downloading the app. All clear? I hope so. So we can change the look of this thing. We can zoom. We've got it like a zoom. We can make it a bit bigger. We can make it a bit smaller. So see, if we want to have it a little bit smaller, if you've got better eyesight than me, 100%. You can change the theme. You've got all the original Mela looks. So the original colors. You can go in and change this to the original looks, and each one of them have had a different look. Or you can go custom, and you can go in here and change the colors of, you've got a theme designer in here. So if you change the custom, you can go in here and change all the colors and choose your own colors at your own, So you can do all that kind of stuff too. How do I get back out of this? I don't know. Probably let's go back. And theme designer, it's artist themes. No. And look, there's a whole bunch of themes that are listed on the website too. So if you need help, go to nikolozi.com and you've got some suggested themes and all of that there, color coding and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how to get out of the, here we go, theme, back to Mela 4. Done. Sweet. So there's all of that. You have a help guide down here, getting started guide, an FAQ. So all your help stuff's down here if you need all that. All right. And the help guide's really nice. If you hit the getting started thing, it opens up in the app and gives you a nice overview of everything. Buses, lanes, signals. Nice. So you don't get taken outside of the app. You can look at the help all in here and get an idea of what's going on. Nice and neat. Fantastic. Thank you again, Robert. Cheers. All right, so we also have this little help, a little question mark at the top here. If you click this, that'll bring up the help for you as well too. There's a keyboard. You can bring this up from the bottom, and you got a little keyboard down here. If you'd like to play on the screen, yeah. So you can do that as well, and that is controlled by this little keyboard icon. Up here, it'll go away. Okay, the first thing that is a major update with this, which is fantastic, is Poly. Poly sounds. Let's show you where they can be found. You'll see up here in this top corner, it says Poly 4. You can choose between mono, Poly 2, Poly 4, and a Poly 8. So if we go to mono, which is what this originally was, and go to my keyboard, I can't play 2 notes at once, right? I can't play any chords because it's set to mono. But if I want to make a poly, I can come up here now and choose up to 8 poly chords. So if I choose Poly 8, come back to my keyboard, now I can play chords. So that's a really wonderful stuff to have our poly and be able to play some chords, make some nice pads and all that kind of stuff. You can choose a voice priority, so newest, oldest, lowest, highest, so it depends on where you play it in the actual chord. So really nice little stuff there. Follow priority, reuse voice, simple stuff. Okay, over here is where you will find your presets. There's a little arrow up here, and if I click it, it opens a side panel with all of your presets, and you have leads, keys, bass, pads, synth effects, audio effects, and MIDI effects. So in all of here, you've got, we're going to not use the MIDI effects at the moment. These are MIDI effects, and I'll show you those later. But if I choose a pad now, So this is where you find all of your sounds. We've got some bass sounds in here. We've got keys. Leads. That's harsh. And your user bank. So if you make anything and save it, it will go in your user bank. But what we want to do is we want to make something from scratch and start from zero and show you how to start building a sound. How do you do that? Click up here and you'll get a little drop down and you'll see this is where you can save a preset, export your presets, create a new group. So this is a group. So this bass thing here, this is known as a group. I can create a group if I want and do this and call it whatever I want. We'll call it like guitar just for argument's sake. And now we've got a little guitar group in here and I can save things in there. If I want to delete this group, I click on the three dots and I can delete that group. Anywhere you see three dots, you'll see them. Look at all, see these three dots. Let's zoom in a bit. See the three dots everywhere? They normally mean if you click on them, you'll get a menu, right? So always be aware of the three dots if you get a little bit lost, and the three dots will lead you to a menu. That is the way it rolls. But if we click up here, the one thing I want to show you is the init patch. So what is an init patch? When you click on it, it basically gives you an initial patch. Right, there you go. So there's nothing. If I play the keyboard, there's nothing because there's no modules. This is a complete bare bones, start from scratch, have to like build a sound. This is the way Modular works. And from here, we have lanes, right? So this is giving us a lane, this little rectangle here with the MIDI in, instrument and audio out. This is our first lane. We can create multiple lanes by adding another one here. I can do another audio lane. I could do an instrument lane, and you can start building up lanes to build things. Yeah, I have done a previous reviews, tutorials of the older versions of this Many Vibes. So I'm just giving you a basic overview of this before we look at the new stuff, just so you know how to make something. So I've deleted those lanes. You don't even need lanes. You can make a whole instrument in one lane, right? So let's click the plus over here and it gives us the option to add some things. We've got audio processors, modulators, pitch processors, utilities. These are all the things you get in the collections that you buy. So to start any modular synth, there's two things you're going to need. The first one is an amp envelope. You're always going to want to start with an amp envelope, and I'll show you why. You need an amp envelope to control the oscillator. If I just choose an oscillator, it's just going to make sound. And I can't stop it. It's just making sound. Sorry that was so loud, but that was the reason I did that. So you don't do this. Let's delete that. Right, go away. You need to have an amp envelope in the first instance. So we're going to do that first. We're going to put an amp envelope at the beginning, right? Now we want to put in, our oscillator. Am I doing this right? I got to remember my, oh, hey, see, I did it wrong. Look at that. You don't put it afterwards, right? Delete. You need to put in your amp envelope, and then you need to put your oscillator beforehand. And see again these three dots? We can go in here and now insert an oscillator, and look at that. Now it's not making any sound, right? We've got our oscillator in there first, and we've got our amp envelope following it. But if I did it the opposite way, let's remove these, all right? And I put in the oscillator first, you're going to get that wild, loud sound. Let's do it. Oops, I didn't want to put that one in. Dickhead. So if we put in our oscillator, we've got the sound. Then I need to put an amp envelope, and that's going to stop it. And what does the amp envelope do? This gives us control over the keyboard. So we basically have the beginnings of our first synth sound. This is the absolute fundamental basics of modular synth. And then from here, what is an oscillator? If you don't know what an oscillator is, this is the waveforms in here. Right? You can choose a waveform in here, a square sound. You can choose a triangle. You've got a sine wave or a sawtooth. And there's a whole bunch of other cool things too, like a trapezoid. Right? A full wave. So this is the fundamental building block of your keyboard. Let's say we'll keep a square. Right, now that we have these two, and you can change the phase, the sync of this. So just by changing, you can... All right, we got a ring modulator, a ring up here. We got the level, and we got the phase. So you can start messing about and creating your oscillator. From here, this is leading, so this moves from left to right. So this is now going into our amp envelope, and this is where we have an ADSR, right? So an attack, a decay, sustain, release. Fundamentals of synthesis. If we turn up the attack, we can make a pad. See how it takes that long time, that long attack to actually play the note? If we pull the attack all the way down, it plays immediately when I hit a key. Turn it up. All right, and then we can mess with the release and all this. So I'm just keeping it nice and simple today. Let's have a faster attack. We are currently in mono and we don't want that. We want to play some chords. So let's go to a Poly 4 and now I can play chords. Nice. But it's set to Poly 4, so we can only play 4 chords at a time anymore. It's gonna you'd have to move it to like a Poly 8, right? Polyphonic, 8 notes at the same time. So from here, we can keep building and adding things to this. So we could really straight away now go and add like an FM operator. Whoa, right? We don't want to do that though, but this is the thing. You can mess around and go and add things in. Straight away, I might want to add, let's see, might want to add a distortion. And we can turn up the drive on this. We can change the distortion to like a fold back. So you can actually start building your sounds. You might want to bring in a chorus or something like that. You've got modulators, you've got LFOs, you've got pitch processors, a pitch bend, a glide. This is all the things that you would see that is in like a normal synthesizer that is already made. But you get to determine with a modular synth how you want it to be. And there's so many things in here we can add. There's, you know, clippers. We don't want it to clip. You can do all this kind of stuff. What do we got? A phase inverter, a noise oscillator. You got volumes, filters. We can add a filter in here. Let's get rid of this distortion. And now we've got a filter. All right. And you've got options like, you know, your low pass, high pass filters. You can choose what kind of filter you have in here. Again, this is the building blocks of synthesis, so it's really, really cool. Now, you can add an LFO. Let's just throw an LFO in here now next. Let's look for a modulator, and we have an LFO. And we're starting to get like, it's starting to get a bit long here, and things are getting a bit spread out. You have targets as well. So we can send this LFO if we click on a target, and you'll see some of these have targets, like this up the top here has a target, and our LFO has a target. Well, we can send this LFO out wherever we want. So I can send this to the filter, we can send it to the frequency, and you can turn it up, and you can see this is animating. This is modulating now. Right, we can slow down. We can go back to the modulator here and change what kind of modulation, change the depth of it, change the offset. We can change all of this stuff. Slow it down. Then we can go in here to our targets and add another target if we want. And we can send this to the, where do we want to send this? We'll send this to our LFO. We'll send it to the, hang on, we want to go to our filter. We'll send this one to the resonance. Turn it up a bit. And now, we're animating that. We can send stuff to anywhere we want. Anywhere that has a target, we can send it to anywhere we want. Even the amp envelope, we can, right? Low frequency oscillation is what an LFO is. So you can start like sending stuff to many places. I could now add a reverb, and I could send the modulator to a reverb. I can add another module if I want, because there's another plus here. I can keep going along, all right? Or, remember we said at the beginning, it's about 38 minutes in now. I'm going to have to take a break. I did forget to do the break. Let's come back. So every day, halfway through the show, we take an ad break, and just to get paid by YouTube. The ad has been run. You may or may not get an ad. If you do, just skip it, come back. We'll wait for you to come back. And I can just let you know what's coming up this week on the rant. We're going to be talking about DAWs. And are you using all the stuff in your digital audio workstation to its fullest before going out and buying additional sounds? Because if you're not using the stuff that comes in your DAW to the fullest, you don't understand how that works, maybe you need to go back and refresh, because we have everything we need in our DAW without having to buy external things, right? You can make a killer song with everything you have just by purchasing a DAW like GarageBand, Logic, whatever it is. It already has delays, compressors, so we're going to be talking about that. All right, let's come back. People are hopefully back from the ad if you did get one. We can create lanes, right? And why are lanes good? Well, you can see here, these take up space, and I might not want to close them all like this, right? So here, we can add a lane. Here's a brand new lane, and I want to add, I don't know, we'll add another instrument, yeah? So here's our second instrument, and I want this lane to be connected to this. How do we do that? Let's show you. You'll notice up the top here, we have a MIDI in. Now this is receiving keyboard sounds. This is allowing me to put in input into this beast that we're making. And here we have an audio out. So this is giving us the sound that we're hearing. So now we have a new lane down here. We want to connect this lane to the lane above. And we're going to go into this MIDI in section, and I'm going to select here. Hang on, I actually want to select audio. I chose the wrong thing. See, I'm a dick. I make mistakes too, and that's okay. We're going to go in here, and we're going to do a audio channel, and in here I'm going to choose an audio bus, and over here up the top I'm going to choose an audio bus 1. So now this is sending information to here, right? So these two are now connected. Yeah, it does. Like, you know, all modular synth works the same, Jim. You know, everything has to have an oscillator, has to have an amp envelope. You have to build this stuff up. But these days, you know, we have a lot of the synths we have now, they're already made for us, and we don't have to go through this. But there are people out there who love modular, and modular was the original way to make synthesis. And so, you know, this is why apps like this exist. So those people out there can tinker and make their own sounds completely from scratch. I mean, you can have dual oscillators. I can put in another oscillator in here if I want, right? And you can, because you can put stuff in anywhere you want. I can hit here and say insert beforehand and put in another oscillator. And now we've got two. So now that these two things are connected, I can come down here and start adding effects. I can come down here. Let's look for a... right, so let's first do a meter, because you've got things like meters. I can add a meter, and now, see how they're connected? So this audio is going audio bus out and coming into this new lane. So now when I press play, this little meter is reacting to this top lane. So now I have a little volume meter. I can also come in here and add, what else? We've got a utility. I can add an oscilloscope. There's so many things you can add in here to help your experience. We've got more modulators, random envelope follower. We've got a simple LFO. This is the new one that's been added in here. And again, this is another LFO. I can send this, let's send this target over to this oscillator here, right? And we'll do that. So we want to find our oscillator 2. Let's send it to, the phase. What do we send it to? We'll send it to our ring modulator, okay? Oscillator 1 to ring, turn it up, and, oops, I went to oscillator 1, didn't I? Let's go to oscillator 2. I'll change this. I'll change this to oscillator 2. Ring. So now you can see this ring is now going, and we can go in here and change the setup of it. This is a small little simple LFO. We can change the offset. We can change the waveform. Do like a random hold. Turn this up. So now this is randomizing. You can build this thing to be whatever the fuck you want it to be. It's just so neat. And, you know, when you're running out of space here, you can just add another lane. Go ahead, add another lane, and then send this audio out to bus 2 and call this one bus 2. And you are starting to build a huge synthesizer. What do we have? Let's scroll down. I'm sure I'm missing some. Here we go. So there's some stuff down here. We've got a stereo delay. Let's throw in a stereo delay. We can sync this delay. It has all the stuff, normal stuff you would see in a delay. So from virtually nothing, we're starting to build a sound. Is it the best sound in the world? Absolutely not. You know, I could probably come up with something a lot better. But let's, so this is the delay here. Now, one of the new sounds in here is a digital delay. Let's check this one out. So we'll remove this sucker. To remove anything, as I said in the beginning, look for the dots, delete. You can duplicate things too. I might want 2 digital delays. I can go in here simply and just hit duplicate. Now I've got 2 digital delays. You can delete them, rename them, duplicate them, replace them. So if you want to replace it with something else, you can go ahead and do that too. Let's kill this second digital delay. So now we've got this is one of the new effects you get with Mela 5. And again, I might want to use this LFO, because this is another new one in here. I might want to go to my targets here and send another LFO over to the digital delay, and I can send this to like the time of the digital delay. So now if I turn this up, you should see the time of our digital delay. Is modulating. Let's try something else. We'll send it to our feedback. Is our digital delay. We'll send it to the low cut feedback. So now you can see this is animating. Rad. All right, so there's now there's compressors in here. There's everything in here. We can now go down to our third lane because we've connected these, and we can add a plus here. We've got compressors. Let's get in here. See, we've got a comb filter, a compressor. You're after a compressor. There's a compressor. We can do side chaining, right? We have things like a side chain. We've got this new one in here, which is a mid side. I'm not going to go into the full depth of a mid side chain because it's just not set up for that. So you can do side chaining. What are the other? We've got a phase inverter. Let's bring in the phase inverter. So here's our compressor, you know, standard compressor. You got your threshold. A ratio, typical compressor. Let's load up our phase inverter. So you can invert the phase of the sound that's coming through by turning one of these off and one on. There's just, I mean, it's a fucking beautiful app if you're really into tinkering. And I know this isn't going to, it's not going to appeal to everybody, this kind of synthesis. It's going to appeal to the people who like to tinker and make their own sounds and get really into sound design. This is going to be absolutely perfect for you. For a lot of people, it's going to be a little bit overwhelming, and I understand that. And it is what it is. What are these ones? So we've got other things in here like this notepad. Where do I say notepad? It's diddle-a-doo, diddle-a-doo-doo-doo-doo. Is it in here? Notepad. So how does this notepad work? I don't even know. Look at this. If you need to write notes in here, many vibes, wishes she had superpowers, if I can spell. Now you may think, what's it going to do for me? But you may want to put in some notes for this sound you've made. Or think about this, you've made a sound and you're sending this to somebody, you've made a bunch of presets. This is a really great way to explain what this synth is that you've made. You know what I'm saying? You can just put anything in here and let the people know that the sound that you've made, or just something for yourself. Yes, don't we all want superpowers? What would your superpower be in the chat? Let us know. Tell us in the chat. If you had one superpower, what would it be? What else we got? We've got a dual pan in here. Let's have a look at this dual pan. Let me get up here on dual pan. There it is. So this thing, see, they've cancelled each other out. So that's a nice one. Nice little dual pan in there. We've got pitch processing. What else is new in here? Just checking my notes. We've got a stereo pan. Where's the stereo pan? We'll scroll. Stereo pan. So this is another new one here. So really cool stuff to be able to build your own. So this isn't a complete walkthrough today. I just wanted to show you the basics of building this stuff. And let's run through some presets so you can see what these things look like. I think that's the best way to do it. We'll go through some leads and we'll load some of these up. And you can see with each, the other thing too. So if you like a little, can I go back? I don't think I can. Let's start a new module quickly. We'll do that again. We'll do an initial patch. We'll do let's add a amp envelope, and then we'll add in a oscillator. Okay, so let's go in here and add we'll add in here a filter. Where are you? There's our filter. Now you may want some additional control over one particular knob. Say I want this. If I hold down, it's this way to do it. I can't remember how to do it. No, that's maybe I'm forgetting how to do. Where are we? I see if I can fucking remember how to do it. Level, or is it just you hold down over the whole thing? Replace, rename. I'm screwy. See, I'm forgetting. Drive. No. I can't even remember how to do it. See, this is fucked. You have to go back and watch my my original show. Convert to, we've got insert, duplicate. How do I do it? I've forgotten how to do it. See, I don't know fucking everything, and I love that. Let's add in a distortion. I think we can probably do it with a distortion. Over here, we've got a mix. Not a right click. I thought it was holding down. But anyway, I'm wrong. There is a way to do this, and I've fucking forgotten to make this a button. How do we do it? Replace, duplicate, help. Fuck me. Is it up here? Convert to audio MIDI. No. Fuck me. I hate that when I've forgotten how to do something because I'm supposed to be teaching you, but my brain is blank. My brain has actually gone blank, and it's not up here. But you can actually, you can move these around too. There we go. So I forgot about that. You can actually move them around if you want to. But there is a way to make these into little, here we go. So you hold on the writing. Hey, I got it. Be patient, folks. So I may want to take this frequency. If I hold down on here, I can add this to a perform knob. Okay. So if I touch this and hit or edit perform, I can assign this. You've got 8 slots. Watch what happens when I add this to slot 1. It puts that cutoff up the top. And I may want this frequency up there as well. So I just hold down on the writing, edit, add to slot 2. So now at a quick glance, I might want to close this filter so it's nice and neat. I have control over the filter. Let's open it up. With these knobs up here, and I can build 8 of these knobs up here, right? So I can have 8 of them. I can come over here to this, we can come over here to this phase or this sync, hold down, add a perform to number 3, and there's our little sync knob. So you can set up the top here a whole bunch of easy to get to buttons. So I might be performing, and I might just want to reach up and grab these. And you have this little easy selection of knobs up there to play with, because everybody loves to play with a big bunch of knobs, don't they? Yeah, we all love a big bunch of knobs. And so the reason I backtracked and showed you that there is because once we go through the presets, you'll see a lot of these presets have a bunch of knobs up here. So let's run through some presets quickly. I'm going to add just some nice effects to this. I'll just do something simple like an altether because it's a wonderful reverb. And let's just go through some sounds. And you can see from these patches, these are some really complicated modules here that have all been made, yeah? Look at how complicated that is. There's a whole bunch of things in here. And you can just keep adding lanes and adding lanes and adding lanes and building up some really beautiful sounds. Now, notice with a lot of these leads that we're looking at here, they're all in mono because they're leads, right? But if we go to something like some pads and choose a pad, we can make sure these are in poly 8 and we can get some really cool pads. This thing is beautiful for pads. So look, a really good way to understand this is to go through the presets and have a look. So we've chosen this demo 4.7 and you can see what's going on here. What is in this? So we have a global LFO, and if we scroll down here, you can see we've got a velocity, we've got a voice LFO, we've got activity here, and then down the bottom is where our oscillator is. Down here, we've got 2 oscillators, and we've got a relative pitch. What a rad sound, yeah? But before we get out of here, so I'm not going to run through all the presets. I've done it before on the other streams I've done for Mela. I just want to remind you that Mela can also be used as an effect. Hey, Secret Legacy, what's going on? So if I load up a piano, let's just load up a piano, and we'll load up a nice piano motifs to control it. All right, so I'm going to make this piano motif. We'll send this out to our piano. Oops, to our piano. We'll choose a motif, generate. So now we've got some piano playing. You can also add Mela as an effect. So if you search for Mela, here's our Mela, and it's been taken over here. But let's go into our patches, and here, see this, we have synth effects, audio effects. You can actually use these as effects. I don't know why I'm not getting any. What am I doing wrong? I'm doing something wrong. That sucks. Fucking hell. Bitch can't get anything right today. I'm doing something wrong. There's that. But you can actually use them as an effect. If I throw one in here as well. Why am I getting Mela? I thought there was actually an effect. And for some reason, there we go. So in here, I've added Mela as an effect on top of Mela as an instrument. So we have like a attack sustain. We got a comb flanger. I think I know how I fucked this one up. Because we've got to have the input set to MIDI. That's right. We want to come in here, audio effect. And we've got to have an input, don't we? We need to have an input, I do believe. That's on me. But you can use these as an effect as well. Go back and watch my other shows. Plus, these can be, the Mela can actually also be used as an audio, as a MIDI processor as well. So you can send MIDI processing stuff out from Mela into other instruments. So you can do all that kind of shit. Well, there's so much to this app. It is just a wild, wild, wild app. It is so beautiful. But yeah, if you want to go back and get a good rundown of exactly how this thing works much deeper, is that a word? Deeply? Go back and check out the Mela 4 because that was a full tutorial. This is just going over some effects, some of the new stuff. And as I said at the beginning, this update will have more things added. There are more things planned to be coming with further updates. So basically the way Mela works is every year there's a major update. So next year around this time will be Mela 6, I assume. And it will have a new module included in it with a whole bunch of new collection of new modules. This is the module 5, the collection 3 for module 5. Now I'm just confusing everybody. Rad stuff. It's a beautiful, 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 beautiful app. And remember, as I always say, apps aren't Pokemon, my friends. You don't need them all, but that's why we do this show, so you can see if this is something that is going to excite you, get you excited about making music, because the most important thing is making music. You can collect all the apps in the world and have every goddamn single app, but if you're not making anything with them, what's the point? Yeah. But beautiful. This is complete sound design. This is for those people who love to tinker and sound design and have imagination and can just imagine these sounds. This thing can virtually help you make anything you can imagine, yeah, because it's just a beautiful, beautiful app. All right, today's featured artist, we're going to get out of here. Hello, Fishy. And yeah, we're waiting for song mode. Of course, everybody's waiting for fucking song mode, aren't we? You know. Today's featured artist is, of course, who is it? Scars and Shadows. I know exactly who it is. This is her latest song. She just dropped 16 hours ago. It's called Hiding Behind the Door by Scars and Shadows. She's an amazing artist. There's a pinned comment up the top if you'd like to go and support her. Hit the subscribe button. All the links are in the pinned comments, so go and do all of that. I'm out of here for the day. Remember, Valerie's coming up in about 55 minutes' time. Can we get somebody to throw that link in for Valerie's show? If not, I'm searching for it as well. Valerie Bat. There she is. I've found it. The Flock Rocks. Let's write a song. Let me click on it, get the link. So Valerie is coming up in about 55 minutes' time. I'll post a link into the chat. So everybody, get your ass over there. Oh, thanks, you got it for me, Leila. I'll do it again as well. Get your ass over there. Let's all go help Valerie make a community song, something fun, something positive. It's always a good time over there at Valerie's show. Thank you for coming here and supporting me today and hanging out. I know there's always other things on that you can go and watch. Tomorrow, don't forget, Gladys Worthington. Go and leave a question. Give Gladys something to answer for asking for a friend. This is Scars and Shadows, and this is Hiding Behind the Door. Do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better, and we'll all rise together and remember, stay awake. Boom.
Traces of your love. Stay with me wherever I go. And I don't want to fade. Don't want to walk through the shadows. don't